Before we begin, thank you very much to Jonathan B. for joining my Patreon campaign. I appreciate it greatly. Thank you very much for helping to support the channel. Thank you everyone for supporting the channel. You can do that in a lot of ways. The Patreon is the most effective, keeps the channel afloat, but I know not everyone can afford it these days, so hitting the like button, hitting subscribe if you haven't done that, that also helps a lot too. So any little way you can help the channel, even the free ways, thank you very much for doing so. It's a weird week of Transformer news for this news roundup. We've got a lot going on that is not your norm. We don't even have any real brand new stuff to reveal this week in the realm of normal Transformer toys. We just get clearer looks at things, like Hasbro finally acknowledging that a Studio Series Airazor exists a good, month and a half, 2 months after we first saw this toy. Hasbro is still not up on their advertising game. They are getting beaten to the punch by a lot of other people about their own products. And it really does just make it weird how like, this is technically a news story, but I have to discuss it now, again, even though we've already talked about this figure more than once. But we're going to talk about it again really quick here. So as we have established before, it is a version of Airazor. We're not sure which one yet. There is a different version of Airazor that is being leaked. One is that is the main line for Rise of the Beast. This is Studio Series. We're not sure which is more accurate to the movie. I would lean toward the mainline one because this is a lot paler in color. This color doesn't quite match the bird we've seen in the movie. In the trailers, in the previews, like what little footage we've gotten. But as you can see, it's based off of it's based off of the Kingdom Airazor mold. It's not a remold. It's all 100% new parts to get that techno-organic look. But it's the exact same engineering. It's just now Hasbro is listed up for pre-order, so now we actually get to acknowledge it officially. It's weird how they're handling a lot of this. They're trying to do like a slow trickle of pre-orders. You know that this is one of 4 figures in a wave, but the pre-orders for the others are not out yet. We have to do this like one by one for some reason. It's a really weird marketing strategy and not a very effective one in my opinion, but we've already done a video about that. This is just about a news thing. And yeah, Airazor's up for pre-order if you really, really want one. Beyond that, we have to go back to Authentics. We talked about this Starscream recently because it just got revealed, but now we have official photos of it. Oh, and how amusing they are. So, for starters, okay, packaging just looks like your standard packaging. A lot wider, I would say, than most alphas because of the wingspan, of course. What is weird about this, so we have the back of the box, which we've seen this before, and I was complaining about this because the shoulders look so low set on the figure, like somehow the CAD itself was mistransformed or something was misaligned. It's a bizarre look, like the shoulders just look way too low. Now we have official photography of the toy now, where the shoulders do look like they're in a more correct position, or at least at the angle they look a lot better. The problem is they didn't transform the legs. So we have a potential mistransformation in the shoulders from the CAD, and now we have another mistransformation in the legs. Why is this still a problem? Why is this still a problem in Hasbro? I guess this goes along with the marketing, because the stock photos are part of the marketing of a new toy. Why is this still a thing where, like, even an Authentic, the most basic of Transformers they produce, even this can't escape the terrible butchering to the transformation that these stock photographers do? I know they're just there to take photos. They don't know the toys. You'd think someone would send along a set of instructions or something, or have a designer on standby to go, no, you've got to, like, fold the legs out like that. There you go. Because it makes the toy look bad. It makes the toy look bad. It hurts its potential for sale. You'd think that'd be important to Hasbro. But no. Mistransformation here, mistransformation here. I guess they just don't care about the Alpha line, which is fair. Fair. A lot of people don't. It's just an amusing thing. I don't think the Alpha's out yet, so we can't see this thing in like correct transformation just yet. On the other spectrum of the expense scale, Prime 1 Studio officially announced and opened pre-orders for their Powermaster Optimus Prime. We've seen this one previously. It's a really massive, impressive statue piece with a ton going on. The way I describe it is if the movieverse did Powermaster Optimus Prime, because it definitely has elements of like his combination with Jetfire in the aesthetic. Aside from the fact that, yeah, the overall design has way more to do with the movie than it ever did with Powermaster Optimus Prime. So it's a lavish, gigantic, what you would call a like museum quality statue. I mean, it is just a super impressive thing. Now, there's different versions. There are different versions. You can get the standard version, which is basically you get some like the shell, like the shield, the shoulder-mounted shields, like the big fans of blue shrapnel. Those can be removed on the standard, but that's about it. You get a ton of extra parts with the bonus version. You get LED eyes, torso, and weapon. You get a detachable wing accessory, the right-hand longsword, 2 swappable left and right energon swords, so your statue can be very, very customized. So this is a 37-inch tall statue and is incredibly highly detailed, along with all the extra stuff it does. So if you want one of these, I hope you have your mortgage paid off. You're looking at a cool $4,500 for the ultimate version of this. And considering that most of the basic version is in, I couldn't find. Oh well, like I guess here, get the different version. All right, let me check real quick. Let's see how much the budget entry version of this one is. And you'll excuse me, this website doesn't. It takes a while. Yep, I figured it would be about 4,000. So yeah, so for the low cost of $4,000, you can have a statue of an Optimus Prime that doesn't exist. And that's weird. I always figured nostalgia and recognition would be the selling point. So when they do something really crazy and original like this, it's super impressive. But I also don't know who you're selling it to. But I guess you're selling it to like big comic book shops that have statues like this. It's there for like a showcase piece rather than something that most, everyday consumer would buy. But there you go. There you go. It's officially out for pre-order. All right. Someone has the Canon Cross Transformers Reflector in hand, and this was kind of cool to get size comparisons of this. So essentially, it's like, well, the Optimus Prime would be small, but for Reflector, it's actually kind of masterpiece scale, which is kind of neat. It's still a very awkward figure. I think it's cool. I think it's cool that there's a modern Reflector that turns into a modern camera. It's not really the product for me, I don't think, despite how much I like Reflector. But it's, I don't know, it's just one of those weird licensed toys they do once and then, and it just hits a very small niche. I mean, I'm sure there are Canon and camera enthusiasts who are going to love this too, so I'm not knocking that. It's just an oddball one, and it's an expensive oddball, I think, is the thing. I think sub $100 I would be down for this, but I think this is like $150. Yeah, it's more than I want, let's put it that way. But it's cool. It's out in the world right now. People in Japan have been able to buy it. I don't know how easy it would be for Americans to get it, but it's available. It's somewhere out there. You ready for some potato quality images, people? So in China, they have released a Legacy Menasor Stunticon multi-pack where you can just buy the entirety of Menasor all in one box, which is super convenient, especially for those who got in late on all of the releases. The box art is super small. I apologize for that. It's apparently taken with an old flip phone. But you at least get the idea, right? Right? Cartoon Menasor on the front, big legacy box, that kind of thing. The problem here is it's really, and I think this is cool. I think this is cool, like the big cutout of the original box art. Okay, that's a neat little touch. But it looks like all this really is just one big sleeve for just all 5 of the regular boxes, which is kind of a letdown. It's kind of a disappointment, but I guess you're still getting all 5. I guess I figured I guess that's the point, no matter how it looks outside of the box. I don't know, just a neat little quirk for you little package collectors that like weirdy things. Speaking of weird, so this popped up on eBay a while ago, but everyone was kind of like second guessing authenticity, because things like this you can knock off prototypes like this. You disassemble the mold, you recast it the way you do with normal knockoffs, you inject it full of random parts and colors, and that gets you your this. But it seems like this is a real prototype of Haslab's Victory Saber. It's another super expensive item. I think this is also like $4,000. But hey, it is a very, very rare piece, and I'm actually kind of shocked any type of prototype for a figure like this would even make it to the market. Though I guess there's a prototype Haslab Unicron out there floating around too. But for the prototype interests, yeah, here is Here is Blue Saber, which is not bad. It's not bad. It's just a weird one. It's just oddball, but it's out there. New listing. This new listing came with a couple of weird things. So we do confirm that Studio Series is getting Airazor, Bumblebee, Cheetor, and Scourge, which pretty much already knew that. We know from previous leaks that the Cheetor we've seen already is not the Cheetor that we're getting in Studio Series. That is the mainline one. So expect that this Studio Series Cheetor to be kind of like Airazor in that it's going to be far more heavily detailed, probably leaning more toward the concept art than the final product. There's other things listed here. Things called Core Boy Voyager's Class Assortment, and something called Core Voyager Optimus Primal, and Core Deluxe Bumblebee, Core Deluxe Cheetor. This seems extremely confusing considering we already have something called Core Class. I guess that's internal naming only, hopefully. But the interesting one in all of this is something called Beast Mode Optimus Prime, which almost it's completely distinct from anything else we've seen. It's completely different from anything we've seen before. It's not listed as Optimus Primal. It specifically says Optimus Prime Beast Mode, which really makes me wonder if Optimus Primal does go feral somehow in this movie, or rescans a Beast Mode. That leads to some interesting speculation. Or it might just be a rescue bot situation where they just, same character, different toy that fits in the theme. We have yet to see, but it's worth keeping an eye out. Might be a spoiler for the movie. I should have thought of that sooner. Alright, G.I. Joe deck building game is getting a Transformers crossover. I know I've got friends into the deck building game, so I've never had a chance to play myself. But I mean, from what I hear, it's a good deck builder game, so it's cool that we're getting a crossover expansion. We're finally almost 40 years into this franchise, and we're finally getting all this G.I. Joe Transformer crossover we've been asking for forever. The Joes get a visit from an unexpected ally, Bumblebee, who warns them their arch-enemy Cobra has teamed up with their enemy, the Decepticons, and that while they are planning will not bode well for planet Earth or the people who call it home. The forces of Cobra have new allies in their plot. You get it. It's story fluff. Good guys, bad guys, join forces, etc. The pre-order is out right now. If you're into the card game, you've got another reason to get into it, I guess. So you remember this thing? So for whatever reason, so a company licensed the Stretch Armstrong brand to make their own toys, separate from Hasbro. We know Hasbro has been sending all their lower toy lines to other toy producers and earning the money on licensing so they can focus on major toy lines. This is another example of that with the Stretch Armstrong figures, and it's been announced that these are going to continue. After Bumblebee we are getting more Transformer characters in stretchable form, and it's even expanding into Star Wars characters too. So hopefully you can actually torture Jar Jar Binks the way you've always wanted to. It's interesting to me. I don't even think this is out yet, but they've already approved more of the Transformer brand ones, so hopefully this leads to some weird things for collectors to buy, because I know you're out there. I know you'll want to buy some oddities. Oh, trust me, we're not even done talking about oddities this week. All right, real quick, we have the cover for the Rise of the Beast mission at the museum, ready-to-read book, which is just a junior novelization of the movie, which gives us some actually really cool artwork of Scourge and Optimus Prime battling. It's a nice little preview shot, and strangely enough, one of the first really good looks officially at Scourge that we have gotten so far. It looks pretty cool here. Like, I actually really like it. Like, he's got that rust with the heat lines going through, gives it this like fallen aesthetic almost, with all this like heat building up in him. And he's got a detail we haven't seen before. All these different sigils on his arm, which seem like the same way you would put like enemy marks on the side of a jet to show how many basically how many kills you've gotten. I'm seeing I'm seeing Autobot logos on him, but they're logos that don't quite match. They don't look like the other Autobot symbols. So there's potentially other factions that have gotten killed by this guy. It's a curious little detail. I think it's the most interesting detail here because it kind of informs Scourge's character a little bit more. Gives us a little bit more of an idea who he is. So yeah, it's just going to be a simple little... It'll probably be based on the movie rather than being like a direct retelling of what's going on, but it's some way for kids to get in on it without them being exposed to all the heavy imagery and potential violence in the movies. So, it'll be out there too. Speaking of licensed product, these got listed on Amazon and then taken away immediately, and I'm not entirely sure why, because there's nothing here that hasn't been revealed already. So it's basically just merchandise with stock imagery of the characters from the movie on it. Aside from, like, this is like the only time we've seen the stock art for RC, and I think that's really the only thing we hadn't seen before. Yeah, we have artistic drawings for Optimus Prime, artistic drawings for a group cast, including Cheetor and Rhinox, who are not officially revealed, but we've already seen them. We've seen Cheetor in the movie. We've seen Rhinox in the trailer. Hasbro hasn't officially put out anything on their own for them, but we have seen the models. You know, we've seen it from like the zoo tour. And yeah, so I'm not sure why these were pulled, other than they may have just gotten released a little bit earlier than planned. I don't think they spoil anything. They certainly don't show anything new. It's a weird one. Like, I'm not sure how that misfire happened, but it did. And to finish us off for the week, if you want the weirdest Transformer product I think I've seen in a long, long time, Koosh. Oh, it's the Koosh ball. I didn't even know they were still making Koosh balls. But apparently they are, and apparently they're willing to stick Transformer parts in them because they're not only doing Optimus, they are doing Bumblebee as well. Now, this feels weird. Okay, so I don't know why you'd want to have a Transformer that looked like a microscope view of bacteria, but that is a thing. And I also don't know why you'd want like hard plastic parts in your Koosh ball. I thought the Koosh ball experience was just like how like soft and rubbery it was. If these parts were like rubber, like the Stretch Armstrong figures, that might be one thing, but it's still weird. Like I feel like this gets in the way of my Koosh experience, if that makes any sense. I know, it's the same reason I don't like ice cream with like nuts or even chocolate chips in them. It's like ice cream is like smooth and creamy, and like putting this like solid hard chunk in the middle doesn't make sense to me. I kind of feel the same way about Bumblebee here in Prime. It's just a super weird thing, and I'm not sure who it appeals to, but I'm sure someone out there is into it. And that's going to do it for our news roundup of the week. I can't top that. I don't think anything this year is going to top that for how weird it is. But thank you for watching. I hope you're caught up on your news for the week. And as always, we'll be back next Monday to talk your latest Transformers news updates. and all the news worth talking about. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.